Greetings, folks. Richard here, Tulsa Stained Glass Company. First of all, thank you for the purchase of our books. We have 2 of them. Hopefully there's more to come. But all of these books are based on our 50 years of experience in the stained glass business. Okay? For years, we have taught stained glass, the mechanics of how it's made, all that type of thing. Our students have been doing some wonderful work, but one thing that has been something of a problem is the creative aspect of building a stained glass window. Because in order to create, you have to have a pattern, you have to have an idea, you have to go through some things that is totally different from actually building the product, okay? So let's talk about stained glass just a little bit. First of all, this is authentic stained glass window. All these pieces are independent pieces of glass held together by this lead cane. And this lead cane, if you cut it and look down the end of it, looks like a little I-beam. Anyhow, all of them are authentic when they're built like this. That goes back centuries. Medieval Europe, great castles all over the world, and cathedrals too. In fact, cathedrals became very popular for using stained glass because they told stories. Literacy was low, so all of their clothing, what they're holding in their hand, the background, everything about a stained glass window of old has a story to it. It's symbolism. Now, some of the old ones are painted and fired, so you have a lot of features on it and what have you that make it real. And then there are others like this that are just plain stained glass. But there's symbolism here as well. All right? Now then, each of these, for example, could be a family. It could be, this could symbolize this could symbolize that. We have this here, and so everything is all symbolic. And it's up to the artist to put that symbolism in it, maybe write a story about it, and then it becomes very valuable in the future. Now this is a lot different than just going and learning how to paint a picture, learn how to use the brushes and all that kind of stuff. And this is all about the EMOSY system, symbolism, and is all about creating meaning with your artwork, okay? So, this being authentic, and now then we move on to the other part that we use to create our artwork, okay? And to get over our, at some point we get stuck with our creativity. We don't know what to create. We might want a butterfly, we might want this, or we might want that. A lot of times we have an idea, but sometimes we don't, okay? And sometimes we want to get beyond making pretty cute things. We want to create something that has depth, not only in depth in visual, but depth in meaning, all right? So you go back to the great artists of the world, most of them have meaning behind their artwork. And that's why they're selling for millions, okay? Because of their technique, and then because of the meaning that they have that goes along with it, all right? So, the EMOSY is a system that will help you do that, all right? Here we have Explore. You think about your project, you find a symbolic image that helps, you sketch that image out to something that resembles what you're thinking about. You refine it. Here you use art elements and art principles to help you define and make it more exciting or vibrant or tell your story better. And then you design. And so with design, this could be a quilt, it could be a mosaic, it could be a stained glass window, it could be a collage. But that comes in design of the craft or technique itself. And then the sharing. The sharing is very important because sometimes when we create art, we get so attached to it. All right? So in our process, we advocate giving it away, sharing it, maybe through photography, maybe through social media, but share it out, get it beyond the scope of your work environment, okay? So these are the EMOSY fundamentals. We call them the think system, and that will help you think through all of this. Now, if you start getting stuck in somewhere, you can go back and redefine all that and kind of think through these 5 elements and be able to do that, okay? So we have a lot of things that we're going to be able to do that kind of help you think through that system. Now, first of all, we have to get over perfectionism. This isn't about making the best stained glass. It's not about being able to paint the greatest painting with skill and all that kind of stuff. This is all about creativity, okay? And that's where it starts. Once you have that creative process, then you can start defining and perfecting your skill, all right? So let's go over this idea of concepts, ideas. This gentleman that I'm about to show you was wanting to make a hole-in-one. He was a golfer all of his life, but he had this passion that he just wanted to create this hole-in-one and had never been able to do it until he took one of my classes and he was listening, and by golly, sure enough, he made his hole-in-one. All right? Now, abstract, but the idea is there. Another lady goes to Colorado with her mother, bonding, having a great time for years. Her mother passes, and she comes to class hurting with this loss, grieving, and she comes to class, and it's a stained glass class, and she all these different pieces, and she collects some pieces, some triangles, a little circle, and a little this and a little that. Didn't know what she was going to make, but she sat down, let her subconscious flow, and she started moving around all the parts, and then she put her project together. And it slowly came together, but when she was finished, she had a scene from Colorado. Now, this is very gratifying to the soul. When she hangs that up and looks at it, she remembers Mom. And she remembers all the good things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may go to a lot of different classes of this and that and learn how to do technique work. But using this EMOSY system, you learn how to make things meaningful. And when you make things meaningful, there's tell stories, you write about it, you do all kinds of things, you share it with everybody, and that is when your artwork, no matter how it is, quality-wise, it has meaning. It's you. And you don't have to be this artist. This family came in, they wanted to look at their artist. She wanted to be a family. That's what was important to them. And so they not only illustrated, symbolized their family, but they also did the family cat. Fun. Didn't have to be this artist. Just get that idea across. Now, what started this whole thing was I was born in Hawaii. The last picture my father and I took was in our front yard. There was a coconut tree in the background. And so when I started thinking about this, I says, you know, I would like to do something about my childhood. Had great time, great family, great this and that. And I want to remember that, and I want to bring that up. So when I look at it, I can have those good thoughts. Sure enough, the coconut tree. Now this coconut tree has become famous over the years because it symbolizes the EMOSY. It's emotion, symbolism, self-expression. So I coined that as the EMOSY, and it's been an EMOSY ever since. Okay? So it's kind of fun. It gives people a sense of being. You get to work with arts and crafts, and you get to think deeply about what you want to make. Now, if for some reason you do not come up with anything, an idea, the book has ideas for you. There's 60 of them. We call them prompts. And they're prompts that help people learn, grow, and have fun. Okay? So you will be able to select one of these prompts, have a discussion about what it means to you and maybe somebody else and talk about it. And then bring that back into one symbol that you're going to be turning into your EMOSY. Okay? Once you do that, you go through the whole system, you make it, you do everything, including share it, and you will feel better about it. You will have completed something that you're proud of. Now, there's a lot in these books, and I can't cover it in everything here. But read it from start to finish, and then go back and then read it in more detail. Okay? I hope you'll get as much out of it as possible and enjoy the EMOSY process. Remember, it's the think system. All right? Let me know how you're doing. This is Richard, Tulsa Stained Glass. Come see us.